that's the thing about the busyness of this fugue, right? When you get to places like your brain is telling you, oh, you got to do those chords, you got to be in time, right? You know, I get that, right? But again, you actually have more time than you think. You see, it's like instead of, take the time to actually complete. Like you can keep a pulse, but it's you don't have to be a metronome, right? Bum bum yum ba ba bum ba ya da 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 dum. As long as it's say like when you take the time for a chord, you give it back. That's it. You give it back later, like through the movement of the 16ths and all that stuff, right? But try this once again. Try to go for something as less aggressive in a way, more round. So you're going for a different character, perhaps. Yeah, from there. Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, there you go. Exactly. There you focus on the bass. Yeah. One more time. Even there, like when you do. Is even like that. The string again is a little heavier. It takes a bit more effort to activate and to release, right? So keep that in mind actually when you do the détaché. You'll just when you skip strings and sometimes you'll just have to adjust a little bit in terms of right. That's a bit more. It needs a bit more carving, let's say, than if you're on the two top strings. You have to try that one. Yeah, good. I'll continue. Yeah. 3. Yeah, that's fine. Good. Try it. You want to as well, because of course now we're in kind of like the heaven territory, right? In terms of where the range of. There's one thing about the violin which is quite sort of deserves the kind of supernatural connotations that it has, because it's sort of you're at a range at which no human can sing, but at the same time it can sing. You can be very vocal, so it's just sort of that's why it's quite special. But here, you want to cultivate in a way this feeling of the difference between something more concrete. You see how when you again loosening up the various processes here in the right arm. So you can take a bit more bow if you want, actually. Right? Instead of staying in one place, think, oh, okay. Whoa. Give the sound some air. And just by way of a bit more suppleness here, okay? imagine bum, 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 bum. Of course, that stroke always takes a bit of effort, but you can think of it more as like upward gestures rather than, right? Sort of like bum, 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 yeah, yeah, yeah. Something, and that comes from perhaps, again, more horizontality, right? When you're at this range in the E string will not be able to, let's say, take pressure as much as, let's say, if you would give it more speed or more space horizontally to work with, right? Suddenly, when you loosen up and when you give a little bit more space this way, things will start to loosen up. Yeah. Good. Yeah. From the beginning of the section. Try this now. Imagine it's like, right? Here, I gotta feel physically in that way, right? Because that's how you give yourself more space, right? Instead of, let's say, more bow first of all, but then suddenly, okay, if you want to do more bow, you have to loosen up even more, right? Yeah. Try, let's say, going a little farther down the bow as well. So going to the lower half, like for those down bows, perhaps getting to a certain point where you feel like, oh, okay, the weight of the frog and the hand alone can actually help you provide that, instead of having to manufacture it by pressing, right? Okay. Good. And now a bit more bow. There you go. You see, that's coming along very nicely. Now when you have those big 4-note chords, enjoy them. You can actually take. You see how you could just, again, more bow, flex, release. Yeah. So basically, try that until the end of the phrase there. From there. Yeah. Yeah. That's coming along nicely. Yeah. You see how big difference? Yeah. And so you're starting to thaw, it's sort of it's kind of like, now the things are becoming more fluid and the sound is becoming more naturally released, so that's something to always look for, when you're playing Bach, especially. You never want, let's say, the sound to get stuck or to be, let's say, like you always want to think of the sound in a 3D way, right? Right, rather than right, something 3D rather than 2D. But yeah, great. Thank you so much.
Thank you.